So, we were solving question based on the equivalent weight and the law of chemical equivalence. Let's solve some more questions. Now, in this question, he is asking how many grams of O2 is required to react with 20 gram of hydrogen and what weight of water will form. Now, how we will solve these kind of question with the help of law of equivalence? Let's see the solution. Now, first step is we have to write the chemical reaction, and that is and one more thing, while applying law of equivalence, we don't have to balance the chemical reactions. Now, weight of oxygen we have to find out, weight of water we have to find out. So, let is equal to the weight of oxygen is x gram and the weight of water is y gram. Now, applying law of chemical equivalence, the number of gram equivalents of hydrogen should be equal to the number of gram equivalents of oxygen, and that should be equal to the number of gram equivalents of water. And how do we find the number of gram equivalents? That is given weight upon equivalent weight. So, 20 is the given weight of hydrogen and 1 is the equivalent weight of hydrogen. So, this is the number of gram equivalents and that should be equal to x, that is assumed weight of oxygen, and that should be equal to y by 9. 9 is the equivalent weight of water, and if we solve it, 20 by 1 is equal to, and the value of x will be 160 grams. Now we have to find out the value of y here. So from that equation we can find is equal to y by 9 and y is equal to 20 into 9 and that is equal to 180 grams. So these are our final answers, means when we have 20 gram of hydrogen, we require 160 gram of oxygen and 180 gram of water will form. Let's solve another question. Now what is asking, if 2 gram of metal react with an acid, 1.12 liter of hydrogen gas liberates, then what is the equivalent weight of the metal? Now in this question, metal is not given to you, acid is not given to you, you can't apply simple stoichiometry to find out the answer. We have to apply law of equivalence. So let's start the solution. Let's say the metal is M and it is reacting with an acid. And it is forming salt and liberating hydrogen. Now again, according to law of equivalence, the number of gram equivalents of the metal should be equal to the number of gram equivalents of hydrogen. Now we have to find out the number of gram equivalents of hydrogen. And what is given? Given is 1.12 liter of hydrogen at STP. So for hydrogen, 22.4 liter of hydrogen will be 1 mole, that is 2 grams. So therefore 11.2 liter of hydrogen at STP right. Now 1.12 liter, that is given in our question, of it means that the weight of the hydrogen is 0.1 gram. Now according to law of equivalence, the number of gram equivalents of metal should be equal to the number of gram equivalents of hydrogen. Therefore 0.1 gram is the given weight of hydrogen and 1 is the equivalent weight of hydrogen, and that should be equal to the given weight, that is 2 gram. You can see here 2 gram metal is given, so 2 gram divided by the equivalent weight of the metal. So if we find out the value of equivalent weight, that will be equal to 20. So this is the final answer of this question. And one more thing I want to tell you, equivalent weight is a dimensionless quantity because it is relative, related to hydrogen, oxygen and chlorine, and we have done this thing in the past. Let's solve some more questions. What is asking, when a metal is oxidized, so metal is oxidizing and then 50% increase in the weight takes place. So weight is increasing by 50%. So this is the question involving percentage. Now let the weight of metal is 100 gram. Therefore, the weight of the metal oxide will be 150 gram because there is an increase of 50% in it. Now, writing the chemical reaction, the metal is M. So, M plus O2 gives a metal oxide. And we know that metal is 100 gram and metal oxide is. Now, by law of conservation of mass, oxygen should be, right? Now, applying law of chemical equivalence. Let the equivalent weight of metal is E. Therefore, 100 is the given weight, E is the equivalent weight, should be equal to 50 is the given weight of oxygen and 8 is the equivalent weight of oxygen. Now, if we solve it, E will be equal to 16. So, we will solve these type of questions in this way. Now, let's solve one more question. What is asking the weight of the calcium present in the calcium nitride when 7 gram of nitrogen is present? That means that the weight of the nitrogen is given and we have to find out the weight of the calcium. Let's solve this question. And the solution is, now we all know that the formula of calcium nitride is now let us assume the weight of the calcium is x grams. So the weight of the calcium that is equal to x grams. Now, applying law of equivalence, and that is the number of gram equivalents of calcium should be equal to the number of gram equivalents of nitrogen. Therefore, the given weight, that is x of calcium upon its equivalent weight, that is, now 40 is the molar mass of the calcium and 2 is its valency. That should be equal to the number of gram equivalents of nitrogen. Now 7 is the given weight of